Hi, welcome to another video on my Mirft2 walking robot of fischertechnik with the TXT controller. Last time I decided to test on the pulse counters C3 and C4 etc. And then I found out that several things were not quite the way expected in counts. C3 was like 22, 285, and then it went gradually up. When I start the program, that may be fine. However, I'm still curious how things work out. So the current situation is that I have the pulse counters connected to C3 and C4, and as you can see in ROBOPro, I have nothing here yet. So what I am going to do is just running everything for a bit and then see how things work out. So it's still the motors 1 and 2, and let's see how things act. Oops, where does that come from? That may be right. I reseated a gear, so let's start again. No, that sounds very suspicious. And I have pressed another gear. Ah, that is a problem. Alright, I didn't think of that. One of the gears of the front leg, if you may remember, have clamps on a rod that drive the front legs, and one of those rods was blocking everything. So now it should go right, and I reset this and I reset that. So let's see. Alright, now let's reset it and count seconds. So 1, 2, 3. Now the other one. 1, 2, 3. Well, that sounds and looks quite reasonable. So C3 and C4 act normally. Let's go back to C1 and C2 and see how those respond. And I'll do it on the fly. C3 to C1. And C4 to C2. And holding it on off the floor. Let's do it again. And oh, this is already at 7, so I What is happening here? One of the motors is disconnected. Okay, solved. Let's see how this ends up. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That looks very nice. So ROBOPro has no problem whatsoever with any of those. And I think that's a good, very important conclusion. Which means I go back to my own program and see how those behave. So last time I looked at the code and I read from the counters 2 and 3, which are on the interface 1 and 3 and 4. So that's a bit confusing, but I also discussed whether it was a good location here or somewhere here. Now for the test with ROBOPro I relocated the connectors to C1 and 2, which are then 0 and 1 here. So what I'm going to do now is to copy these lines let's see how I can. Now I have yanked 5 lines and that is not the idea. Alright, we'll see what happens. One line, and I will put them right here. No, right there, and another one. Then I will say, since they are now in 0 and 1, and next is begin, then of course I have to adapt that as well. This will be 1, this will be 1 as well, and then say begin. So now I know what that is, and going here I will reverse this order, but also say 0 and going to the end I say 0. Here I will say 1 and then 1 and end. So with this it should get very clear which one works and how. So time to run the script, and then I'll have to hold it up. So I have to keep in mind the rods again, but they look fine now. So let's run it. Oh really? Why is that? Okay, I'm doing it. Let's check the motor connectors. Yes, all plugs are in. So let's try again. Alright, this is something very odd, because the right side legs run, but the left side not really. Let's try another one. And now it's exactly the opposite. The left side runs fully and the right side hardly does anything. What is going on here? I have no idea. And everything is 0. Time to go back to 2 and 3? I think so. Actually, I'm doing something else. What I'm doing is not go to 3 and 4, or here 2 and 3, but to go to 1 and 2 and see what difference that makes. So now let me check every wire, and that looks okay. I have to keep in mind though that the wires don't get stuck in the gears, because that will be no good. But they look alright now. So what I have to do first here, so they are now in 2 and 3, which is 1 and 2. No, I said 1, and this is 2. Going to the end of the line, this is 1 and this is 2. Going all the way up here. This is 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. So once again, let's see what happens. Lifting it up off the ground. Okay, now that is a difference. Although only left works, the left side works. The right side didn't do anything. What does it do now? Again, for some reason, the right side hardly moves. And let's go back in time. Okay, counter to end says 6, and now counter to end says 276. Let's see once again. Okay, so counter 2 runs normally. Counter 1 doesn't run at all. And if you look back at the start of this video, I used ROBOPro and everything looked normally. So apparently there is something not quite alright. Let's see. Once last time. same thing, except that counter to end is reset to null. 0. I didn't expect that to happen. Oops. Okay. With this result, I think it's good to go to 2 and 3, meaning C3 and C4, and see whatever happens then. And I expect, considering the results from the last time, that everything is alright then. So what is going on? Is it software? Is it firmware? Firmware I doubt, considering the results in ROBOPro. Anyway, let's put the connectors to the last well-known situation. Good working situation, that is. And adapt the software. So the connectors are back where they started, which is 2 and 3. So now all I have to do is change the software a bit. There we are. Now lift the robot again. See what the difference this makes, if any. Alright, this is unexpected. Both legs were fully functional. Did everything they had to do, but the counters say nil. How can that be? Once again. Same story. Counter 0, but everything else is working. How about cable setting? Yeah, everything works. Once again. Okay, how to explain this? Everything functional, and now after 3 attempts they give some kind of counter setting, counter results, and I really don't get it. Or am I doing something entirely wrong, that the pulses should not respond to yeah, wait a second. I am consistently using motors 1 and 2, but I'm also using the counters. So are the counters is counter 1 consistent with motor 1, and should I use counter 1 only with motor, or should I use counter 4 only with motor 4? But if so, then this would have ended with 0, because there's nothing in motor 3 and 4, or in software motor 2 and 3. And yet here we have results. non-zero results, that is, because this is a result as well, just not one that we want. So I don't think that matters. And it's reading, because the motors generate pulses that are counted by these, so you read them. So the statement that C1 belongs to M1 and C4 C4 belongs to M4 is nonsense. But then again, it doesn't explain this. So let's run it again. Now they run for quite some time, and now this is once again a result that is okay. I think. That said, why are they so different? Do they really count in the wrong way? This is still 0, this is something, and here they start with 0, here they end with a number. Start with 0, end with a number. Now let's see how they end up this time. Higher number, yes, much higher number. But if they end with this, why does it start with 0? That I don't get. Does it have a memory? If so, then this number should be here as well. Then 1636 should be here, if it has a memory. And yet, by ending, it gets a higher number. Odd, very odd. And unfortunately, I haven't got a response from the programmer yet. So, I'm in the dark in that respect. So, in order to actually show you how the legs move when the connectors, the counters are on 2 and 3, so in the software 1 and 2, I'll have to adapt the software a little bit. And I maybe should have done it before starting the camera, but anyway, here goes. And to avoid accidents happening, I'll lift the robot again. And this is what happens. And the odd thing is now that counter 1 says 0 and counter 2 says 2200. Well, actually that is understandable. That means that counter 2 is connected to this leg, of course. And there it goes again. And now the end is at 2475 actually. Counter 1 is 0. Running it for a third time. And that is how it looks. So this is a very strange situation, of course. And when I move the connectors to 0 and 2, which means that the situation becomes like 1 and 3 or 0 and 2 in the code. So let me change that one. Which means that I only have to adopt one part of the code. 1 becomes 0. So let's run it again. And once again, it is this one that actually does something and not that one. So now for the final kind of test, I'll move the connectors here. So they are at 0 and 1. And the other line as well. And I have a problem because now they don't run at all. And then this happens. You will always see that something happens at the wrong place, wrong time. Oops. I'll try to connect this. Let me put it. No, I should not put it like that. Ugh, I hate this. Now it works again. How do you call that? Shit happens. Anyway, let's run it. And the interface has gone off. That means that I have depleted the battery and I have to go to net adapter. Alright, so I have changed to net adapter now. This one is still connected, but it doesn't matter. So let me run once again. I also had to relog in, but that is logical if a controller goes offline. And now you see that this one hardly moves and this one does. So let me do it again. So this is not very nice, of course. And now, I don't know if you saw it nicely, but first this one went and then this one. So next run, next attempt, and every counter is 0 by now. So all these results don't make any sense. Well, most results don't make sense. And I don't know what the cause is. I blame the counters, but on the other hand, I have no idea. I need to find out way more, and that will be next time, I hope. For now, thank you for watching. If you like my videos, please visit my website, which is listed under this video or at the start of the video, and make my website, make a small donation if you like. Big donation is welcome as well. And subscribe if you haven't done so to my YouTube. Also follow me on Twitter and Instagram. And this is to be continued, obviously. How? I don't know. More things with counter. I hope. Let me see. Motor still works, but something in the software isn't quite what I expect it to be, and that is strange. So that is up for next. Bye bye.